Welcome again, Leo. It's March 2020. I'm just having a look at your horoscope this month, and what came to mind was my younger son when he was finishing his high school, and he was really in a tailspin over how to manage everything. And I had to sit down with him one day and show him the benefits of really getting a tight schedule going. And this sixth house of your horoscope was all about that. It's about your workplace responsibilities, your agreements, the way you work with other people. And here we see the strong congestion, or as I call it, a traffic jam. It's called a stellium in astrology, where you've got a really huge backlog of planets here, and that's influencing this area of your life. So you may actually be juggling so many things right now that this month is pretty much about bringing some measure of control to that. Let's animate this so we can see also that in your 8th house of shared resources, the retrograde Mercury. So the month kicks off with a bit of indecisiveness, and it has a lot to do with your finance. This 8th house is your shared resources. The opposite view to the 2nd house, which is your money, your income, what you value, is in a bit of a tailspin here. And so you're a little bit apprehensive about making any sort of decision. Keep your eye on this lunar movement here. The expenses should start to mount a little around the 4th and the 5th, and there can be some worries about that. So you've got a couple of factors there. You've got the retrograde Mercury, which goes back into your relationship sector. So dealing with communications, misunderstandings, that's the usual thing. Most of you understand what that retrograde Mercury has to do with. But for you specifically, Leo, it's got everything to say about your finances, your shared resources, your relationships. And that means, again, figuring out what it is you want to do in your work, because you've got all of these planets here just cramming this area of work, your daily routine and your activities. And Venus has to do with that as well. It's beautifully placed right now here in the upper part of your horoscope, indicating some wonderful social and business opportunities overlapping. You can really network yourself at this time. And because Uranus is here, there's also an element of unpredictability to that. That's going to be an ongoing factor in your life for some years to come. But when the planets, as you can see here, South Node and Mars have done it, and we're going to see after this full moon that just occurred around the 9th and 10th in your finance sector, again, you can see the themes coming through. We see the opposition here, a darkening moon influencing this Venus and Uranus, along with these triangular aspects. So some tension here, but that just can destabilize or show some surprising events in your work. Also, some backtracking on the part of your employer or those you work with, your managers, your supervisors, people saying things, schmoozing with you, and then all of a sudden changing their mind. So I wouldn't, especially after this Mercury was retrograded, here we see it's going direct, after about the 14th or 15th, I would be waiting till this point to really place any stock in what people are saying to you, particularly your employers. Now, notwithstanding that, I think you've got some grand opportunities here. And we see later, I'm going to be talking about this. First, we've got this movement here aspecting this Venus and this Uranus here from your 6th house, which is the main theme I started the reading off with. Anger, reaction, you see this, moon in conjunction with Mars around the 17th and 18th, then with Jupiter, good opportunities, but perhaps you're biting off more than you can chew, which was what I started saying to you. 7th house gives you an opportunity to renegotiate, especially now that Mercury's moved back into the finance area. That's your banking manager, your accountant, all of those people that are handling and managing your money. And the other thing I want you to look at, Leo, is this really significant transit, again, from the 6th house, Saturn, which just on the 23rd, after the Sun has made its move into Aries, here moving into your 7th house. Now, what this means is that some of your values are going to be in for a big shake-up over the next couple of years. But that's going to happen immediately in the last week of March with the ingress of the sun into the sign of Aries in the 9th house of values, travels, education, legal matters. It's also a place of agreements to some extent because it looks at this 3rd house. And bingo, there on the 25th, that new moon also taking place there. And so the way you communicate needs special attention. The way you are allowing other people to handle your money needs special attention. The way you deal in your personal relationships is going to be very much affected. Look at the square aspect here from the moon passing this Uranus and then moving to the midpoint around the 28th of Venus and Uranus. Unexpected twists and turns in your romantic life are likely, and your work, because Venus as a dominant theme for your career is very much associated with your professional activities and these contracts we're talking about. There's a lot going on, that's for sure. But here we see at the end of the month a rather nice 1 or 2 days of social relief with the moon transiting your 11th house. And we're going to be talking more about this transit of Saturn next month when we catch up. The end of the month is quite nice, but I think this new moon is very telling. Notice here just at the end of the month, Leo, there's less congestion there in this 6th house, but that shift with Mars, Saturn moving here into the place of significant relationships, your marital affairs, can finish the month, and it's also going to begin the next month on a note of a somewhat frustrating experience. More on that next month. In the meantime, I'm sure you'll be looking forward to the chronological text-based report for the month there at astrology.com.au. We've got the monthlies, the dailies, we've got free psychic readings there. I'm here to help you make sense of what's going on. Karmically, this is the karmic part of your horoscope, the North Node, now transiting and almost coming to the end of that 12th house transit. If you need to know more on that, a personal reading is perfect for that. Don't forget to subscribe. Contact me here if you want. I'm open to listening to you, warts and all. And until next month, take care. Bye-bye for now.